We're going to head over to UPMC Nolan Park, where it's the under-19A county final. It's Dicksboro against James Stevens. Ciaran, Neary.
Yeah, hello and welcome to UPMC Nolan Park, Pat. Myself and Ciaran Muldowney are here in the old stand, and as you join us, there's still no score here. There was a chance for Stephen Minogue there from a free. It looked like it was going to creep in, but hit the post and dropped, and Andrew Brendan Smith was quickest to react, and the Dicksboro worked the ball out there. And it is the revised.ie under-19A hurling final here in UPMC Nolan Park. Good puck out there by Daniel Power, picked up by Evan Buggy. He tries to play it down the line, but it's well cut out there by Stevie Darmody. Stevie Darmody tries to gather, but again on comes Evan Buggy. He has it. He's trying to play a lovely ball inside into the full forward line. Out comes Shane Glynn. He can't get on it, and the ball is recycled there. Aaron Brendan Smith has it. He shoots it into the corner towards Matty Kelleher. But first, quickest to react there is Adam O'Connor. He comes out, gets down over it, well taken by Adam. He breaks the tackle, works the ball out, well played there by Adam O'Connor, but Sam McAvoy's caught in possession. Well hooked there by Nick Dotney, but he's blocked down as well. Another block down there by Matty Kelleher as Josh O'Rourke tries to clear it down the lane. He misses, hits the ball this time, lets fly on it. The third attempt there, he tries to break it out, and Josh O'Rourke has it. Picked up there by Paddy Keogh. He plays the ball down the lane in towards Sean Casey. Sean Casey has it, plays a lovely ball out to Steve Minogue. Steve Minogue is on the charge here, shoots it in. The ball is going to drop in around the square, but referee has brought it back there for a free here on, and a dangerous enough loose chop down.
Yeah, just a loose chop down there as Sean Casey offloaded the ball to the on-running Stephen Minogue. Good start from the village, Ciaran. They're playing against whatever wind is here, and the Borough would be overwhelming favourites, but I mean, me and you both have seen here in underage finals the tag of favourites doesn't sit very well. I'm looking forward to this. This should be a right good game between two teams who've dominated the underage finals in Kilkenny, but a good start from the village. This is Stephen Minogue's second free.
Yeah, and he's just on the 45-yard line, shooting into the town end goal, and he drives this one to the left hand post and wide, and that's two chances of frees there for Steve Minogue. You want to be nailing those, Ciaran, in county final there.
You would, yeah. I mean, at this time of the year the scores are going to be a little bit lower, and any chance from a free is a big chance, and you really do need to be scoring them.
Good puck out there by Brian Minogue. He drops it down on the far 21, but well picked up there by Owen Deely. He breaks out the ball, going to strike it down the field off his left hand side, drives it down towards the opposite 65. Across comes Johnny Keane. He looks like he's pushing the back, but on the charge now is Evan Buggy. He's heading in towards the goal. Chance for him, he's going to play it inside. Might have been better to take his score. He tried to find Sean Casey, but might work out well. Ball breaks out to Norman Minogue, and he puts it over the bar and raises his fist to the crowd to say come on. And Ciaran, Evan Buggy might have been better off to put the head down rather than kind of try to pick out the pass, and he was kind of no man's land in between the two.
Yeah, he was in one of those situations about 30 yards out. There was a simple point on, and he obviously had goal on his mind. Look, it was worth a chance, but they got the point out of it in the wind-up, which was the main thing.
Good ball there by Timmy Clifford, plays it in towards Matty Kelleher in the full forward line, but again Adam O'Connor's out there first. Sean Maher goes in to try to pick it up. Across comes Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett can't get into his hand. He has it in his hand now. Tim plays it back towards Timmy Clifford, who you could hear calling handed. Timmy Clifford looks back, not too happy with that one. Good pick up there by Noah Minogue. Noah Minogue has it in his hand. Referee's playing the advantage, and he's going to bring it. Referee Eddie Crowley brings it back there, and a good start by Noah Minogue here on.
Yeah, certainly is. He looks lively. I've only ever really seen him playing in the backs, but he certainly looks an option at wing forward there. He's gotten a point already. He's now won a free to give them a chance of a second score.
Yeah, fresh from his All-Ireland Senior Colleges title there with Conor Doyle. They were due to play two chaps from Dungarvan there yesterday, but eventually the Dungarvan lads gave them the walkover, so disappointing result, but they came through a strong field in Leinster, so they'll be eager now to continue on their success in the 40-by-20. Steve Minogue standing over this free, drives it in, and that's a mile wide, Ciaran. That's 3-4 frees now. I know he's only a young player, but maybe at this stage would you be looking at switching the free taker?
Yeah, well, you see, the thing about it is the confidence will drain very quickly, and as a free taker, like, if you get the first one, you get them all.
Killian Hackett, another long puck out by Brian Minogue. Killian Hackett broke onto it, couldn't get it in his hand first time, but excellent strike out there by Sean Deely. This one drops down the middle. Evan Buggy's been very busy so far. He has the ball in his hand, looks up to play this one into the corner towards Sean Casey. Cross comes Niall Rowe. Niall Rowe with the one hand flick did well there because he looked odds on to be beaten to that ball. Plays the ball back to John Minogue. John Minogue hand passed the ball out towards Niall Rowe, but he's under pressure by the James Stevens men, and straight through comes Oisin Bateman, a man who had a brilliant county minor final. He strikes this one in towards the bar, and a brilliant score here on.
An excellent score, and you're dead right. He was outstanding in the minor final, and even though we're only a few minutes in, it looks like he's carrying that form over. Great score.
Yeah, we saw him at left half back that time in the minor county final. He's out in midfield this time, but good start there by James Stevens. Good take there by Stephen Minogue. He tries to, had it in his hand, just dropped it, which is a chance for James Carroll to come in and recycle it. They're just stuck in the middle of the field here. Referee Eddie Crowley's going to throw it in. And Ciaran, I was talking to a few village lads before the match, and they were playing down their chances, but sometimes players can play up in age group. You know, at their own there's a lot of pressure on them, but they can go out in the shackles off in the likes of an under 19 final and play with a bit of carefree hurling.
Yeah, that's it. Like when you're up to the age, chances are you might be playing the central position. They're kind of dependent on you, but the younger lads then can flourish in around that, you know. It's but I mean, the village playing down their chances, sure, we've heard it all before.
Yeah, exactly. Out comes brilliantly played there by Dylan O'Brien in the far corner. Worked the ball out well there. He was under a bit of pressure there. Killian Hackett. Matty Keller has in his hand now. He's going to strike this one in towards the goal, and he has an opening score there for Dicksboro by Matty Kelleher. And the village might feel aggrieved there, Ciaran, that there's a loose enough pull down on Dylan O'Brien as he was coming out with that ball.
There was, and more to the point, Eddie Crowley actually signalled the advantage and then didn't play it. The Borough turned it over, and Matty Kelleher got a great score from 60 yards out, and it was one they needed.
It's 2-1 in favour of James Stevens. 7.5 minutes gone here in UPMC Nolan Park. James Stevens have the ball in their hand. Across comes Sean Maher. He takes a heavy hit there, but plays a nice ball inside towards Nick Dotney. Nick Dotney didn't go with too much aggression to that one, and back comes Adam O'Connor. He's going to play it back to Daniel Power. Daniel Power, an excellent striker of the ball. He sprays this one over to the far side towards Norman Oak. He's having the run of it there with Stevie Darby, and he's after winning another free on that far side. Referee Eddie Crowley is playing the advantage, but the players are playing on. But he thought he blew the whistle, but is he going to bring it back for the free?
Yeah, the whistle was gone, Ciaran. The players did play on alright, but he had blown for the free.
Yeah, and we're just going to be halfway in the middle of the pitch, just over in front of the new stand, maybe 5 feet in from the new stand as we look across, and it looks as though Oisin Bateman's going to hit this free. An excellent striker of the ball. We saw that with his first point from play. He's going to take it. He's close enough, well, more or less on that sideline over the far side. And Norman Oak starting very lively so far. A point from play, Ciaran, that's come his way. He's controlled.
Yeah, he's a point from playing. He's won a couple of frees already, and he's won the 2 balls that have come down between him and his man.
That's a dangerous ball dropping in there, but Stephen, chance for Sean Casey's charging through. How does he keep that one out? But no, it's gone into the back of the net, and Brian Minogue is coming out with that ball. Great, excellent pressure by the full forward line, and the ball eventually broke out to Sean Casey. Looked as though Niall Rowe had saved it, but the pace of the ball just played through, and Sean Casey with his name on the first goal of the game. And Ciaran, good start by James Stevens.
An excellent start. They're really wiring into this game, and a good finish from Sean Casey. Borough-back's a little bit unlucky there. Andrew Brennan Smith had his hand pass intercepted. Casey took it through and buried it from close range.
Timmy Clifford's on the charge. He's breaking down towards the middle, run no room, has it in his hand now, plays it back to Nick Dotney. Nick Dotney has it, he's going to shoot over his shoulder, but this one's going to drop well short and out to the right hand side and wide, and that's wide number 2 for Dicksboro. James Stevens really are the hungrier team at the moment, getting stuck in here, and excellent performances so far from the likes of Evan Buggy, Norman Oak, Sean Casey starting very lively there as well, Ciaran.
Yeah, they've had some excellent performances, and as you say, from the kind of the lads on the edge, not the lads in the middle. They're playing very, very well. Yeah,
puck out this time by Daniel Power. He opts to go down the middle. Onto it comes Stevie Darby. He's met with a heavy shoulder there by Sean Deely, stopped him in his tracks. Timmy Clifford has it in his hand. He's head high tackle there. He'd be better off just drop the ball now, take his free and play on, as himself and Owen Deely are getting to know each other there, Ciaran.
Yeah, no, they know each other fairly well, but they're 2 big men right in pivotal positions for their teams. It's going to be a flaming battle between them 2 boys. Deely looks a fine hurler.
Yeah, I saw him in, was it last year's minor semi-final out in Dunmore. I was very, very impressed with him. He's a big, strong powerhouse of a man. On that occasion, I think he was midfield, and really when James Stevens were on top in that first half last year, he was really the power driver of that performance.
Yeah, very athletic looking player, can strike off both sides, good reader of the game. Exactly what you want as a centre back.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty Kelleher coming out to take this one. He's out round the 45-yard line. This one's going to drop short in towards wild hook there by Adam O'Connor right as the ball is going to drop in to Killian Hackett, and the ball goes out for a 65. And free taken not up to the standard so far on both sides, and a chance now for Matty Keller to take this one again. He's coming out to the 65-yard line. Body language doesn't look too good, Ciaran.
Matty won't be caught speeding anyway, that's one thing for sure. That was actually a really good goal chance there, a fine hook on Killian Hackett to stop the goal after Matty Kelleher's free had dropped short, but they've got to 65 now to make amends.
And in the under-21 semi-final we have Graignaman at 2-16, Tullaroan 2-12. Graignaman leading by 4 points 24 minutes into the second half, so interesting one there. And that one gone to the left hand post and wide again from Matty Kelleher, so wide number 3 for Dicksboro. It's 1-2-2 James Stephens, a point to Dicksboro. There's 11 and a half minutes on the clock, and James Stephens really flying it at the moment. Ball breaks down, cross comes Oisin Bateman, he loses his footing but he gathers on the second attempt. He's trying to play the ball out but well dispossessed there by James Carroll. But onto it comes Paddy Keogh trying to get onto a good tussle there between himself and James Carroll, but Stevie Darmy picks it up. He plays this ball over to the far side. Kevin Moore and Sean Deely are charging down towards this. Sean Deely has the foot race one. Looked like a push in the back there from Kevin Moore, but well dispossessed there by Noah Minogue, and he breaks out again. Head high tackle on him, probably unlucky not to get the free. He's getting stuck in over on the far side, very busy so far. Out comes Sean Deely, he gathers it this time and hit very hard there by Charlie Nolan, and he can have no complaints, Ciaran.
No complaints. That's a foul shoulder into the frontal charge. Charlie lined him up there, and I think is it Oisin Bateman that's down. He's
Sean Deely.
Sean Deely, yeah, he's quite sore. He got a good old dunt there.
Yeah, heavy hit on him there. And let's hopefully he'll be okay to continue. He went off early here on the minor final as well. Remember James Bergen came in for him there in the second half, and
that's right. Yeah,
we were saying it's a big thing to take off your centre back.
Yeah, it was a big move on the day. Yeah, but in fairness to him, he started this game well. I'm not sure, them two boys, brothers Sean and Owen.
They are, brothers. Yeah.
The two of them in the half back line, that both of them have started well. But a good start for the village. Like 13 minutes gone, they lead 1-2 to a point. That's an excellent start. Yeah,
and sister Niamh Deely then as well on the Kilkenny Camogie team as well. So plenty of talent in that family. 1-2 to James Stephens, 1 point to Dicksboro. 13 minutes on the clock, and Oisin Bateman just standing over the free over on the far side. He's just shy of, I'd say, close to 80 yards out, but he got a good strike in the last time, and this one's going to drop in on top of Brian Minogue in the goal again. It just hangs up in the air, and Stevie Darmody is just waltzing out to this ball. Plays a loose ball out to John Keane. Might have been better to try launch it down the pitch, but Johnny Keane does well. Plays it back to Stevie Darmody. He drives this one into the corner towards Matty Kelleher. Matty Kelleher, I'm not sure what he was trying to do there, but Adam O'Connor read it very well and charges out. And brilliant play there by Adam O'Connor. Plays a lovely crossfield ball over towards Noah Minogue, but Niall Rowe read the situation very well and picks it up. He strikes it down the lane towards Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett's out in front this time, cuts inside and he's charging down on towards the goal. Now he's on the 21-yard line. He opts to take his point and probably could have went a bit further with the goal, but with scores hard to come by, Ciaran probably took the better option.
Yeah, no, it was the right option. He was just out a bit wide and just finished it from the 21-yard line, but he was a brilliant ball down the line from Niall Rowe. Hackett was out in front of his man, turned him and over the bar. Great score.
Back to 3-point game here. Brilliant take there by Steve Minogue. Drives into the corner towards number 14 over there, Shane Glynn. But well picked up there by Niall Rowe. He's going to go back to Brian Minogue, and Brian Minogue will launch this one down long. He gets plenty of distance on it. He drops it down towards 21. Nick Dotney's out in front. Can't gather it on the first attempt. Tries to get it into his hand now. Looks up. He's going to play this one in towards the middle towards Matty Kelleher. He has Sean Maher outside him if he needs it, but James Carroll picks it up now. James Carroll on the charge. He's in towards the 30 yards. Tries to flick it over Adam O'Connor's head, but he won't do that to a strong full back like Adam O'Connor, and he dispossesses the ball, and James Stephens are trying to work it out. Stevie Darmley's after switching over here onto Stephen Minogue. Charlie Nolan picks it up, plays a crossfield ball over on the 21-yard line towards Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett flicks it down in front of him. He's on it down towards the goal here if he gets it in his hand. But well dispossessed there again by Josh O'Rourke. Full back line really doing well for James Stephens so far. And out comes Josh O'Rourke, strikes this one. The best thing he could do, just drive it up the pitch and get it away from the dangers on him. And across, well read there by Evan Boogie. He can't gather on the first attempt, but he has plenty of support and numbers over there with Sean Deely and Oisin Bateman coming in as well. But out comes John Keane with the ball. He's run out of trouble, and his probably his left hand was held right as he was trying to hand pass it, Ciaran, but could have went the other way for over carrying.
Yeah, it was. He was fouled initially before the free was given at all, and then he ended up over carrying. But I suppose it was the right decision to give him the free and transfer the ball just to narrow the gap again here.
Yeah, so Matty Kelleher's 0 from 2 so far. An easier chance for him this time. He's on the 45-yard line. He bends, lifts and strikes. He makes no mistake this time. He puts it straight over the bar. We're back to a 2-point game. 1-2 to James Stephens, 3 points to Dicksboro, 16 minutes on the clock. And Ciaran, James Stephens really need to get the next score.
Yeah, they had a great start, but in fairness to the Borough, they've just settled. They've started to win the ball in their own half-back line midfield. James Carroll is getting into it. Stevie Darmody's benefit from the switch as well. So yeah, the Village could do with a point.
James Carroll's on the charge, plays a lovely low ball in towards Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett struggling to get into his hand. Give his marker there, Dylan O'Brien, a chance to get in on top of him, but he has it in his hand now this time. He has a runner inside him who's Matty Kelleher, but Alan O'Connor again. He's after dispossessing the Dicksboro men 2 or 3 times there, Ciaran, at crucial stages.
Yeah, right good full back display so far anyway. There's nothing getting in there.
No, good poke out there by Owen Deely, but Stevie Darmody is out in front of Steve Minogue. He plays the ball in, and Matty Kelleher, is he blinded by the sun, Ciaran, or that's true now that he's after going half-hearted to, or just can't read it really?
Yeah, well, the sun is definitely in the eyes of the players at the O'Loughlin's end, there's no question. I was in Comer yesterday and the lads below the scoreboard were absolutely blinded, so it's probably something similar here.
Lovely low ball in towards Sean Casey. He was out in front there, and he's after being out in front of Andrew Brennan-Smith. Andrew Brennan-Smith's on the charge now, but well dispossessed there by Sean Casey. Good battle there between the two of those. Andrew Brennan-Smith has it again in his hand. He picks it up, tries to play it back towards 17 there for Dicksboro, Mick Carroll. Ball played down the lane. John Keane's going to go back and recycle this. He needs to put the speeders on because he's getting plenty of pressure there by Fionn Cody. And Brian Minogue comes out now from the goal and drives this one down long. Who's underneath it there? We have Sean Deely, but across comes Nick Dotney. Picked up well there by Sam McAvoy. And Owen Deely drives a lovely ball into the corner towards Shane Glynn, but out in front is Niall Rowe. And Niall Rowe leaves this one down towards Kevin Moore. Kevin Moore picks it up, plays it back towards Rory O'Connor.
Okay, we leave it there for a moment, lads, as we go to Kilmacow and Carrickshock. Richie Power.
Yeah, Pat, roughly 16-17 minutes gone now. Just as we come to Owen O'Neill, who's playing very, very well for Carrickshock. That's been brought down. 7 points apiece here, Pat, in Kilmacow. And the playing is on their new feet, Pat. Absolutely. It's a huge, you have massive credit. Fabulous season, tremendous conditions, really, really dry. So when you open it here sometime this year with a fantastic setup, and at least very close here as well. So you can stay with me, Pat.
Yeah.
Just find Richie O'Neill standing over this one. Say he should pop it over the bar, and that hasn't been Shock 8 points, Kilmacow 7. Kilmacow scores, all the Kilmacow scores have come to play from Sean Downey. Price Connolly, Tom Burton and James West, Paddy Dolan, all chipping in and good scores. Whereas Owen O'Neill is probably our biggest scorer. He has 2, 4, 6 and 7 now. 1 from play and 6 from free.
Right. And any breeze, any wind factor?
No, it's an absolute beautiful day, Pat. There's not a breeze in it.
Okay.
And like I said, conditions are very, very good for us for this time of the year. Sean Moore and Paddy Lannan, Paddy that was on the Kilkenny and Christmas team, they're holding very well for their shot to the half back line.
Right.
So it's 8-7. That's probably at this stage.
Okay. All right, we'll check back with you, Richie. So 8 points to 7, Carrickshock lead Kilmacow, and if you're wondering about Greg McMahon and Tullaroan, Greg McMahon at 2.17, Tullaroan 2.13. They're in injury time. Back to Nolan Park. What's the score there, lads?
Welcome back, Pat. It's Dicksboro 5 points, James Stephens 1-2. We've just 20 minutes on the clock, and Nick Dotney missed a massive goal opportunity there. He's caught in 2 minds whether or not to play it across to Killian Hackett, who was there, but good reaction, good recover there by Dicksboro, and Timmy Clifford. Ciaran got an excellent score there. He broke through the tackle and got onto his favourite right hand side and split the post.
Yeah, typical Timmy Clifford score, just bursting through the middle, shooting off his right. That was a good goal chance for Nick Doherty. Himself and Matty Kelleher worked it well, and Doherty was actually well wide in the wind up, but Ciaran Dicksboro have owned it the last 10 minutes. Their half back line and midfield are completely taken over, and the Villagers are going to have to just get some sort of a score here now just to stem the tide.
And we have a sideline cut over the far side. Norman Og is standing over it, and I think there's a bit of confusion over what way the ball is going, and Kevin Moore went in as he thought he was taking it, and then Norman Oak picked it back up, and it's going to be James Stevens sideline cut over on the far side, probably just maybe 40 yards out from the goal, or sorry, 50 yards out from the goal. Norman Oak cuts a lovely low ball into the corner, but Rory O'Connor picks it up. Rory has it in his hand, plays it back in towards John Keane. John Keane turns into trouble, he needs to release that ball now, and he plays it out towards Charlie Nolan. Charlie Nolan has it, plays a low ball in towards the front of Nick Dotney. Nick Dotney lets the ball overrun, and Matty Keller looked as though he held back Adam O'Connor, but Adam O'Connor picks it up again, and brilliant play again by Adam O'Connor. He's really on top in on that full back line. Plays a lovely ball out to Steve Minogue. Steve Minogue plays it back towards 7 Sam McAvoy. Sam McAvoy's blocked down, looks like a push in the back, but referee Eddie Crowley says play on. A few bit straight pulling going on in there, but the ball eventually breaks down, and Eddie Crowley is going to throw it in here. And Ciaran, Adam O'Connor's been superb so far.
He's been outstanding at full back for James Stevens, and if it wasn't from, there'd be plenty more scores at that end. He's a really good full back.
Absolutely, and out he comes again. He stops that one. There's no ball getting past him in there at the moment, and he recycles this one well, takes the hit, looks up and strikes that one down the lane. He's really outstanding there today, and plays it down towards Evan Buggy. On to it comes Paddy Keogh. Paddy Keogh just runs out of room there, but picked up there by Timmy Clifford. Timmy plays the ball across towards Kevin Moore. Kevin Moore, Ciaran, we'd always say go at your hand rather than try to take it on the hurl.
Yeah, it'll bounce off the hurl, and it did.
Lovely ball played down the line by Norman Oak towards Sean Casey. Sean Casey can't get it, but ball played off there by Andrew Brennan Smith off Sean Casey, and it's out for a sideline cut over on the far side, and it's 1-2-2 James Stevens, 5 points to Dicksboro, 22 minutes on the clock, and Andrew Brennan Smith standing over this one. Rory O'Connor and Sean Casey lining up in front of him. Let's see where this one goes. Gets a great elevation on a lovely ball down towards Nick Dotney, but he tries to control it on the hurl, and it spins off the hurl, but does well to get back in a hook. Evan Comfort, or Oisin Bateman it is, who's charging out with it. He's running out of room, needs a bit of support there where James Stevens players could go in and support him. Steve Minogue is there. Steve Minogue is bringing it on in front of him, but the ball is picked up there by John Keane. He picks it up, shoots a lovely ball into the corner towards Matty Kelleher, but again Adam O'Connor is going to be beating him to this ball. He looks up, plays it back towards Daniel Power. Outstanding play there again by Adam O'Connor. Daniel Power plays a lovely ball down the side towards Steve Minogue. Steve Minogue covering the ground very well. He was in the middle a minute ago, and he's back. Plays a lovely ball into the corner here towards Fionn Cody. Fionn Cody tries to be out in front of Mick Carroll. He tries to strike it in, but the ball hits off Stevie Darmley, and it's out for a sideline cut here, just on the maybe 60 yards out, Ciaran. And Steve Minogue, Ciaran, really working very hard for the team. I know his frees have let him down a small bit, but he's putting in a great performance. Yeah,
it's a great sign in him, Ciaran, because you can drop the head after missing a couple of frees like that, but he certainly hasn't, and he's after getting on a lot of possession, in fairness to him.
Stephen Minogue plays the ball in towards the middle, and Rory O'Connor hits Evan Buggy into the chest, and I suppose Ciaran definitely was a free in.
It was, yeah. Look, it wasn't the hardest tackle in the world, but it was a foul, definitely. Yeah.
And a chance for Steve Minogue now to put James Stevens into a 1 point lead here. It's 1-2 to James Stevens, 5 points to Dicksboro, 24 minutes on the clock. Steve Minogue bends, lifts and strikes this one. Let's see where it goes. He makes no mistake this time, does he? Or it's just after tailing off?
Full time there, lads, between Tullaroan and Greg Lamanna. Greg Lamanna won that 2-17 to 2-13.
Massive win there for Greg Lamanna, a team that did well in junior this year, Ciaran.
Yeah, good people down there doing the right things, and they'll reap the benefits of it. That's a big win for them today.
No, absolutely. Excellent pucker there by Brian Minogue, but again the James Stevens men read it very well. Good strike down the line there by Sam McAvoy. Across comes John Keane. Out to it comes Shane Glynn. He gathers it on the first attempt, plays a lovely ball back towards Oisin Bateman. Oisin Bateman loses it, but uses his quick reaction and played a lovely ground ball. Shane Glynn plays a lovely ball over towards Norman Oak. Sean Casey's out in front. Sean Casey sells a dummy to James Carroll. Sean Casey won't miss from there, and he splits the post, and James Stevens are back into a 2 point lead. 1-4 to James Stevens, 5 points to Dicksboro, and a good reaction there, Ciaran, from James Stevens.
Great reaction, Ciaran. After that period where the Borough had taken over, they've now responded with 2 good scores there. That was an excellent score, good ball across the field, and Casey out in front of his man and over the bar. Great score.
Nick Dotney intercepts his marker there, Josh O'Rourke, strikes this one in towards the goal, and from the acutest angle in Northern Park today, he puts that one over the bar, Ciaran, and he probably needed that score for his confidence.
Yeah, it was an excellent score. He was out on the 21-yard line, going backwards, everything against him, and over the bar. Brilliant score.
It's back to a 1 point game. James Stevens 1-4, Dicksboro 6 points, 26 minutes on the clock. Daniel Power getting us restarted here. He drives this one over to the far side, over towards, looks like Oisin Bateman's over there, so too is Evan Boogie, and it's well gathered there by Paddy Keogh. Paddy Keogh turns into trouble, but he's plenty of numbers around him if needed, and Charlie Nolan can't gather. Kevin Moore's going in one-handed, he'll be better off going in with the two hands today, and he falls over that ball. Out comes Oisin Bateman again, but the ball just kind of stuck in the ground at the moment. Let's see who comes up with this one, and James Carroll comes out with it. He's excellent in those ruck situations, plays a lovely ball in front of Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett has it in his hand. He tries to charge down towards the goal. The referee's playing the advantage, and Killian Hackett is pulled back, and Ciaran, when the ball lands in front of Killian Hackett, he's a handful in there.
He is, and he has the speed to get out in front, and they're putting good balls. Like, the Borough are not really playing with anyone in the corners, and then dropping the ball into the corners for the fast lads to run onto, and he's doing very well now. That's a couple of, he's been involved in a few scores, won a couple of frees. He's dangerous.
Yeah, and like you said, Ciaran, it's all about the ball in as well. James Carroll, just looked up and saw obviously the run from Killian Hackett, or knew where he would be running, and placed a lovely ball in front of him. Yeah,
Carroll's a very good hurler. We've seen him a few times over the years now, and he's really started to get into it in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and his influence is it's part of what's gotten the Borough into this good patch. But that was a great ball in.
Yeah, and Timmy Clifford's gone into the full forward line now as well, Ciaran, trying to put manners on Adam O'Connor, who's after having a field day in there so far.
I tell you what, he'll have a job doing that. Connor is good.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're back to a draw game. Mashi Keller makes no mistake that time. It's 1-4 to James Stevens, 7 points to Dicksboro, 27.5 minutes on the clock. The sun is definitely picked up here, and you can see Daniel Power holding the hurl over his forward as he's trying to poke out that ball. This time he goes down the middle, and the ball battered down there by Mashi Keller. Plays out to Kevin Moore, plays the ball in low in towards Killian Hackett. Will the ball just overrun him? Tried to pull on the first time, but Adam O'Connor again intercepts it, but ball breaks back towards Killian Hackett. He's coming through, tries to flick it across, but break out to Timmy Clifford here. Timmy Clifford has it in his hand, strikes it in. Brilliant save there by Daniel Power and Ciaran. Adam O'Connor did well to block the initial challenge coming in. Daniel Power did well to flick it out, and then Timmy Clifford went off his left hand side, and a great save.
Yeah, a couple of different chances of goals in the one passage of play there. Ciaran, the Village done well to keep it out. I thought Clifford was going to hang that one, but a good save from Daniel Power and a 65.
Yeah, brilliant save by Daniel Power, and you see why he was excellent in the minor final as well. But you see why he was in with Kilkenny minors last year, Ciaran.
Yeah, absolutely. I know he looks like a fine goalkeeper, and his puckouts, you mentioned it earlier, his puckouts are excellent.
Yeah, he's driving the right height, isn't he? He's getting not too much elevation, just player height. But Mashi Keller comes out to take this 65. It's dead centre of the field. Let's see how he goes with this one. He bends, lifts and strikes, puts it in towards the goal, and it's over the bar, and that's Dicksboro into a 1 point lead here now. 8 points to Dicksboro, 1-7 James Stevens, 29 minutes on the clock, and Daniel Power is going to get us restarted here again. The sun has really picked up here. You can see him, Daniel Power, even as he's trying to strike it, he's trying to shield it to see where he's going to put it. This time he goes over towards Oisin Bateman, but Rory O'Connor does well. Mashi Keller plays it in front of Nick Dotney. Nick Dotney was behind Josh O'Rourke, and Josh O'Rourke won it, but Nick Dotney did well to win it back off him. He's battling there with Sam McAvoy, and Nick Dotney's charging through. Rory O'Connor's gone up a long way, and he shoots it in, and he drives that one out to the left hand post and wide, and a brilliant goal opportunity there, Ciaran, and you need to be burying him.
Yeah, that was a really good goal chance, and as you say, he attacked well up the field, followed the play up. Nick Doherty did brilliant to win the ball. He lost his hurl and hand passed it in to Rory O'Connor, but just wide, and that's 2 goal chances now, maybe even 3 you could say for the Borough, and they haven't gotten any of them.
Yeah, and it looks like Rory O'Connor's after going out to midfield, and Charlie Nolan's gone back there to keep a close eye on Norman Oak, who's started excellently. Kevin Moore tries to gather this one. He runs into a wall of Village men. He's down on the ground there now. Let's see who comes up with it. Well picked up there by Sean Deal. Plays a lovely low ball in towards Evan Boogie, but Niall Rose there shields it very well. Niall Rose has it in his hand, breaks out. His hurl looked like he's being pulled, and referee Eddie Crowley gives him the free. And Ciaran, I saw the original free, but then I thought he probably held on to it a bit longer. Like, he never put up his hand to play the advantage.
Well, that's probably what happened, Ciaran. You're right, as in the referee brought it back for an advantage, but he never signalled the advantage, so you can understand the confusion. But Nigro was fouled, there's no question there.
Yes, no, and Bremen Oak comes out to take this one. He's probably 30 yards out from his own goal. I suspect this one will drop in around the square, and he's definitely going long down towards Timmy Clifford and Adam O'Connor. Let's see, well batted down there by Sean Leahy, and well picked up by Oisin Bateman. He sprays this one in towards the corner. Looks as though John Keane will get there first, just ahead of Fionn Cody. John Keane has it in his hand. He breaks out through the first tackle, plays the ball down towards Stevie Darmody. Stevie Darmody plays on towards James Carroll. James Carroll plays a lovely ball into the corner towards Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett is in his hand. Killian Hackett strikes in towards the goal, and he makes no mistake. And Ciaran, that's a lovely passage of play.
Brilliant, yeah. Stevie Darmody, Johnny Keane, Stevie Darmody and James Marr all linked up well in the half-back line midfield area. Marr put a beautiful ball into Hackett, who had made a great run from the far side, controlled it and over the bar. Excellent score.
Yeah, onto his favourite left-hand side, and he was never going to miss from there. And Dicksboro into a 2-point lead. 9 points to Dicksboro, 1-4 to James Stevens. 31.5 minutes on the clock. Daniel Powell strikes that one down, but Stevie Darmody reads it. Plays a lovely ball in towards Killian Hackett again. Killian Hackett has in his hand. He's charging down towards the goal. He's on the 21-yard line. He's going to shoot off his right hand this side, and he makes no mistake and buries it to the back of the net. It's impossible to see with the sun, Ciaran, but we just saw the net rattle.
It is, and we saw the fist going up in celebration. Yeah, an excellent score, and a carbon copy of a couple of the balls, you know, dropped in front of him in the corner, out in front, in and around his man. He's after getting a couple of points, he's after winning a couple of frees, setting up scores, and now he's gotten the goal as well. He's had a really good first half.
Yeah, and a brilliant goal that time. He looked as though he might have went to his left hand side, but cut it in on his right and carried it in just in front of the goal. And looks as though Ciaran's limping here now, but the referee Eddie Crowley's after blowing the half-time whistle. It's 1-9 to Dicksboro, 1-4 to James Stevens. Ciaran, an excellent first half of hurling. Just underway, and free there. Norman Oak did very well to win that free head high tackle there by Kevin Moore, and Stephen Oak's just coming out to take it dead centre of the pitch, and we have a substitute here. We're just trying to figure it out. Tom McPhillips is definitely in, and it looks as though Rory O'Connor's still there. Stevie Darmody, Ciaran, is it?
Yeah, possibly. Again, like you, and I'm just trying to work it out here.
And Stephen Minogue makes no mistake with that one. Stephen Minogue, the James Stevens man, puts it back to a 4-point game here in UPMC Nolan Park. A good free there by Steve Minogue. He's had aided by the breeze in this second half, but it's back to a 4-point game. 1-9 to Dicksboro, 1-5 to James Stevens, and it looks as though Andrew Brennan Smith has gone off, Ciaran. That's who it is.
Looks that way, yeah. Stevie Darmody's gone back corner back for Dicksboro.
Yeah, a couple of changes there, Ciaran. I probably would have left the lines the way they are, but look, that's why we're up here commentating. Good ball there out towards Tom McPhillips of Dicksboro, plays it in towards Nick Dottney. Ball breaks out towards Kevin Moore. He has it in his hand, he's charging down but loses the ball. Out comes Sean Marr. He can't gather, but Killian Hackett from Dicksboro has it in his hand. He shoots over his shoulder, strikes in towards the goal, and that is an absolutely brilliant score by Killian Hackett. It looks that wind is definitely carrying the ball in.
Yeah, that was a brilliant score off his left hand side. They had a kind of a half chance of a goal. It was kicked out to the side, but Hackett followed it out, turned and over the bar off his left. That's 1-3 for him now in a good game.
Yeah, and it's back to a 5-point game, 1-10 to 1-5. Charlie Nolan for Dicksboro tries to come across. James Carroll is there too, but the ball picked up there in the middle by Tom McPhillips. Tom McPhillips sells a dummy, carries it out. He looks up, he's going to play the ball down the line towards Kevin Moore, and he was going to run on for the relap, but Kevin Moore couldn't pick it up. No minute for James Stevens, drive it across into the corner here towards Shane Glynn. Shane Glynn's out in front, gathers it in the first attempt in his hand, plays it back towards Sean Casey. Sean Casey has it now, tries to break the first tackle, but he's getting play close attention there by Timmy Clifford. Well picked up there by Shane Glynn for James Stevens again. He has a man outside him if he can use him. Strikes it out towards Sam McAvoy. Sam McAvoy didn't gather in first attempt, but push into the back here on. A definite free in for James Stevens and a chance for Stephen Minogue to bring it back to a 4-point game.
Yeah, definite push there, and probably one that didn't need to happen because he was going out the way, he wasn't a danger, and a chance for the Village to get their second point of the second half.
Yeah, and a lively opening 3 minutes there, Ciaran, to this second half. Plenty of good hurling in it.
Yeah, and certainly Tom McPhillips is playing like a man possessed there, like a lad who is trying to prove a point, I'd say. Yeah, he's been on 3 balls already since coming on at half time.
And Stephen Minogue from James Stevens makes no mistake there. He puts that one straight over the bar. It's back to a 4-point game. 1-10 to Dicksboro, 1-6 to James Stevens. 33 minutes on the clock. Brian Minogue down in the O'Loughlin Road end goal here. He's going to strike it this one down towards Tom McPhillips, and Kevin Moore's underneath it as well for Dicksboro. Ball spins off Tom McPhillips' head, plays in towards Matty Keller, but well picked up there by Owen Dealey, the James Stevens number 6, and he drives this down the lane into the corner towards Fionn Cody, but well read there by Stevie Darnley. He's breaking the ball out through the field, but Oisin Bay man comes across. There's Paddy Keogh with the number 9 jersey. A lot of white helmets out there today. It's hard to distinguish them until they turn their back to us. And Dicksboro have it in possession here. Charlie Nolan, he breaks the first tackle. Good tenacious hurler Charlie. Tries to kick it out there, but it's well picked up there. Good pressure by Steve Minogue. He plays a lovely ball into the full forward line. Shane Glynn can't hold on to it, and Niall Rowe breaks out with that one. Plays it out to his colleague James Carroll. He switches this one over to the side towards Matty Kelleher. The Dicksboro number 14 has the ball in his hand now. He's going to play a lovely low ball in towards Sean Maher. Haven't seen a lot of Sean today. He's out in front of Adam O'Connor, but again Adam O'Connor, real war horse in there, full back today. He comes out with that ball and strikes it off his right hand side this time, but Timmy Clifford picks it up for Dicksboro. He's on the charge in now towards the 45. He's running out of room. He's going to play it back towards Tom McPhillips. Tom McPhillips looks up, well blocked down there by Sam McAvoy for James Stevens. He plays a lovely ball into the corner over towards Mick Carroll and Sean Casey. Sean Casey was bet for pace there, but he does well to stand up Mick Carroll and didn't rush in, pushing him in the back, which we see on a number of occasions so far. Well kicked out there by John Keane, the Dicksboro number 6. He still kicks it out, using his Kerry football skills there, Ciaran, to bring that one out. And he plays it out in front of Owen Dealey, and John Keane is there again using his feet. He says kick, that's 4 kicks in a row for John Keane, and he kicks it down the lane, but Norman Minogue, the James Stevens number 10, comes back, plays a lovely crossfield ball in towards the middle towards Paddy Keogh. Charlie Nolan's there as well, and Mick Carroll comes down over this one, and he plays it out to number 5 Rory O'Connor for Dicksboro. Well picked up there by John Keane. He plays this one in towards the corner towards Nick Dottney. Nick Dottney's out in front of his man. He turns him. He's on the charge now. He's in towards the 21-yard line. He looks up, pushes away the tackle. He strikes it in towards the goal, and that's a brilliant score by Nick Dottney, and point number 2 for him, Ciaran.
Yeah, an excellent scorer, and he used his body well there just to make the space to shoot. But Dicksboro very clever on the ball. The fellas inside, they hold the run at the last minute. The player out the field drops it into the space to run onto. Clever hurling, and it's back to it's a 5-point game again, 1-11 to 1-6, and we have a substitute in the James Stevens team. Ed McDermott's on for Evan Boogie, and Evan Boogie, I thought, was busy in the first half, Ciaran. I wouldn't be taking him off. He was very busy earlier on. They probably just faded out of it a little bit, and Johnny Keane got into it towards the latter end of that first half. We certainly won't miss Ed McDermott anyway. A huge man.
No, huge man. Well recycled there by Adam O'Connor. Plays it back to Daniel Power. Daniel Power drives it down the pitch there, but James Carroll, the number 8 for Dicksboro, plays it back to his number 6, John Keane. Well picked up there by Matty Kelleher. He breaks the first tackle there by Owen Dealey, and he's charging through, strikes in towards the goal, and that one is going out to the left hand post and wide, but referee Eddie Crowley had to hand up to play the advantage, and he brings it back for a free for Dicksboro, and Matty Kelleher will have a chance here to make it a 6-point game, and it's probably just, what would you say, Ciaran, just maybe 55 yards out.
You're halfway between the 65 and the 45 metre line, just slightly to the left of the goal. James Carroll having a great game for Dicksboro there. He's hoovering up everything, brilliant.
Yeah, he's a great man, Ciaran. When the ball is in a ruck, he seems to always come up with the ball.
Yeah, and he's quite small, but his positional sense is really good, and he's very clever when he gets the ball. Bad wide there.
Yeah, bad wide there by Matty Kelleher. He's not really striking him with conviction, Ciaran, is he? He's saying, I know that's his style, but it's hard to figure it out. Mikey Steins is coming in here for Sean Maher. Mikey will probably go straight into the full forward line. I'd love to see a battle between himself and Adam O'Connor. Now to be 2 powerhouse to 2. I know Mikey will be giving them 2 years, well 3 years, but he's definitely strength of a horse anyway.
Yeah, and on the back of an outstanding individual performance in the minor final as well, Ciaran, so he'll be looking to make an impact here.
Good puck out there by Daniel Power, but Tom Phillips is trying to break onto this one, kicks it out in front of him, the Dicksboro number 28. He's busy out there, but Ed McDermott picks it up. He tries to break the first tackle, plays the ball out towards his number. Looks like another substitute here for James Stevens. Number 28 is Sean Bergen, and he strikes that one over the sideline. He crept in there unknowns to us. We'll try to get that change for you.
Number 20, Jack Kilkenny, replaced number 20, number 28.
We'll try to get this substitute for you now. Looks like
Sean Bergen went in for Finn Cody there for James Stevens anyway, Ciaran.
Yeah, Jack Kelly I think is in there for Paddy Keogh. So we have all our changes there now. It's 1:11 to 1:07, 38 minutes on the clock as Niall Raw, the Dicksboro number 3, and passes this one down the line towards Kevin Moore. Kevin Moore gathers it, he's going to play it back towards Matty Kelleher, the Dicksboro number 14. Matty Kelleher couldn't gather in the first attempt, but he has in his hand now. He breaks through the first tackle, plays a lovely ball down towards Sean Bergen. Well cut out there by Sean Bergen. James Stevens on the charge here now. Lovely ball played into the front of the full forward line there, who is Shane Glynn. Shane Glynn has it in his hand now. Looks like he was pulled down there. Timmy Clifford lucky to get away with that one, and the Dicksboro tried to recycle this one out, and Tom McPhillips strikes it in towards the corner. Again Killian Hackles forced out to this one. He has it in his hand. This time he's going to go on his right hand side. He opts to cut inside, and he's after leaving Joshua Rowe for dead. He's charging in on the goal, flicks it in, tries to lob it over the keeper. Ball still there for Michael Steins, but Michael Steins hit there with a shoulder by Joshua Rourke, and Dylan O'Brien strikes this one out the field. James Carroll is underneath this. The Dicksboro number 8 has in his hand. He breaks it. Oh, he had a man outside him, but Timmy Clifford called for it, and just well blocked down there by Sean Bergen. Sean Bergen has it in his hand now. James Stevens is telling him to run with that ball. Great pace he has, Sean Bergen. Ed McDermott has it in his hand, but well covered up there by Dicksboro. And now Timmy Clifford has it, and the referee Eddie Crowley blows it back for a hand pass, where he said he threw it. Ciaran, it's hard to see that one, was it?
I mean, the one thing I say about blowing those for throws, either blow them all or don't blow any. You know, you can't just pick and choose. But there was about 3 personal fouls in the lead up to that, Ciaran, either way, you know. And now, of course, to rub salt into the wounds, someone got a bit upset at the decision, and the ball is after being moved forward into what is now a scoreable position.
Yeah, so it's a chance for Stephen Minogue here to bring it back to a 3-point game yet. So it's 1:11 to Dicksboro, 1:7 to James Stevens. 40 minutes on the clock. Stephen Minogue bends, lifts and strikes. He makes no mistake this time. He's after being deadly accurate in the second half on the freeze. We're back to a 3-point game, and Ciaran, the injection of pace in around the middle there for James Stevens, definitely working so well for him so far.
Well, the 2 subs that they brought on, Sean Bergen and Jack Kelly, they both made an immediate impact, and they've certainly, as you say, they've injected a bit of pace into it.
Tom McPhillips tries to break out with that one, the Dicksboro number 28, but he runs into a wall of James Stevens men out around the middle. He needs to be careful there not to touch this one on the ground, and across comes Joshua Rowe, or Sam McAvoy. Who has it now? Matty Kelleher. He was trying to make sure the hand passed that time after being blown, and he ended up being dispossessed, but Sean Bergen's in there. Dicksboro men going in hard there. Who has it? Mick Carroll has it. He's going to strike this one down long in towards the corner. Well read again by Adam O'Connor, and he has been absolutely outstanding so far today. He turns back to his right hand side, strikes a lovely ball out towards Owen Dealey, but James Stevens number 6 looks to play it down the line. He might have been better to go direct. Ed McDermott has it in his hand. He looks up and he's going to strike this one in towards the goal, off the hurl, and the ball drops in over the bar, and it's an excellent score there by Ed McDermott off the hurl. And it's back to a 2-point game, Ciaran. 1:11 to 1:9.
1:11 to 1:9. The Village are right back in this, Ciaran. What a score though from Ed McDermott, under pressure out the field, and as you say, off the hurl, kind of off balance as well, and over the bar from about 70 yards out. Brilliant score. Brilliant score.
Okay, lads, we're going to head down to Kilmacow once again. It's Kilmacow and Carrickshock, and how's it going there, Richie Power?
Yeah, we're probably halfway through the second half as Kilmacow have stretched out the lead. They led to 10-9 at half time. They're leading this now 2:15 to 11 points. You know, and full service for the lead. They're a better team. Their forwards are working very, very hard. James Welsh is turning really, really well for Kilmacow. He's a handful. He was wing forward, now he's wing forward, and he's winning a lot of ball and creating a lot of chances. So Carrickshock are just at the end of the point, you know, having with it's a point from play. I'm not sure who scored it. But at the moment it's Kilmacow 2:15, Carrickshock 12 points.
Okay, thanks Richie. And in the Munster Club Championship game, well, it's Ballygunner after winning that 4-19 to Kilruan MacDonagh, 14 points. Ballygunner moving ahead, and they'll play the Pearson of Limerick now in the next round. And of course, Greg Mann had a 2-17 to 2-13 win in under 21 this morning against Tyrone. Back to Nolan Park.
Yeah, it's back to a 1 point game here. Excellent free again by Stephen Minogue. Tom McPhillips gathers this one for Dicksboro, but well blocked down there by Sean Bergen. He has it in his hand now. This time plays it back to Rory O'Connor. He looks up, he strikes this one in towards the goal. Nick Dotney's underneath it, so too is Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett can't gather it, but well read again by Sean Dealey, the James Stevens number 5. Looked like he was fouled coming out with that one. Matty Kelleher tries to play this one back towards Timmy Clifford. Timmy Clifford has it in his hand. He strikes it out to the side here towards Kevin Moore. He better off poured over the bar now, but they're working it through, and Timmy Clifford shoots in and he buries it to the back of the net, Ciaran. And I was saying take your score, but obviously Timmy had different things on his mind.
Well, Timmy was obviously roaring at Sean Moore or Kevin Moore to give it back to him, and he did, and buried it from just to the left of the goal. That's a big score in this match, Ciaran.
Yeah, because James Stevens were really back into it, and the momentum had been with James Stevens, and it puts now Dicksboro back into a 4 point lead. 2-11 to 110, 2-11 to Dicksboro, 110 to James Stevens. And Timmy Clifford had a chance in the first half where Daniel Power, he hit it up that bit higher on Daniel Power made a brilliant save, but this time he buried it low. A cute angle too, Ciaran. He hadn't much to work with there.
He hadn't, and he went for Power, and the Power was enough. Yeah, and in fairness to Daniel Power, in the James Stevens goal, he couldn't do anything about it.
No. Good puck out there by Daniel Power again. Underneath it is the Dicksboro number 9, James Carroll. He looks up, he's going to play this one into the corner towards Killian Hackett. He's out in front of Josh O'Rourke again. He has it in his hand, Killian Hackett. The Dicksboro number 15, he has his jersey pulled, and the referee brings it back for the free. And when that ball goes in front of Killian Hackett, he's proven to be an absolute handful, Ciaran.
He is, and then that's that old pairing again of James Carroll winning the ball in the middle of the field for Dicksboro and playing a brilliant ball into the forwards. And them two have combined several times, and it's hard to handle Hackett when he's in this form now.
Yeah, no, definitely, and the big pitch here in UPMC in Nolan Park suits him, especially when you're getting lovely ball in like that from the likes of James Carroll, Stevie Darmody, Tom McPhillips, all picking out some great ball. Matty Keller, he's coming out to hit this one. We have Andrew Brennan waving up to us down there, Ciaran, fresh from his All-Ireland win there yesterday up in Sligo. Brilliant talent himself and Rian Dowling, picking up their second All-Ireland medal of this year. Well, actually their fourth if you include the two failures, and Neary win 4 All-Ireland medals is a good year. As Matty Kelleher strikes this one in, it's breaking off the post. Good break out here towards Mikey Steins. Mikey Steins has in his hand, he strikes it in. Oh, brilliant save by Daniel Power. Daniel Power comes out, that one was hit low at him, but his reactions were brilliant, and he did very well there. And picked up here by Sam McAvoy. He strikes it down to James Stevens number 7, but Tom McPhillips overruns him. Tom McPhillips has in his hand now, he was going to play it back, but he looks up, he strikes it down. The Dicksboro number 28 plays it in towards the corner towards Mikey Steins. To Killian Hackett's there as well, but Dylan O'Brien, the James Stevens number 4, reads it very well. He's hit hard there by Killian Hackett, and he did very well there, because there was 2 Dicksboro lads to 1 James Stevens man, Ciaran.
He did excellent there. He was under real pressure. Tell you another thing that's noticeable, Ciaran, it's kind of actually quite dark here. There's a spill of rain after falling. There's a couple of big black clouds going over across the far side there. It's gone quite dark. Yeah,
and it's gone that bit colder too, Ciaran. Definitely the breeze coming in on top of us here as well. Wind has looked like it has picked up here as well, but it's 2-11 if you're just joining us to Dicksboro, 110 to James Stevens. 46 minutes on the clock. Adam O'Connor, lovely striker of the ball, he's driving this one in towards the 21. Who's underneath it? Ed McDermott's there for James Stevens, but picked up there by Mick Carroll. He has a run off the shoulder there by Stevie Darmody, and that's good play by the Dicksboro men. Plays it down the left towards Kevin Moore. He gathers this one first attempt. He's going to switch it across over towards Killian Hackett. Adam O'Connor's come out and Killian Hackett. This should be a good battle. Nick Dotney tries to gather it there. Dicksboro men running top of each other. Killian Hackett tries to go in and pick it up, but the James Stevens number 7, Sam McAvoy, plays it down the line there towards Steve Minogue. He does well to flick it on. Here comes Jack Kelly, plays it out towards Ed McDermott. James Stevens number 19 turns back towards his favourite left hand side, and you looked as though his hull was pulled, but Rory O'Connor picks it up for Dicksboro, picks it out to Mick Carroll. Mick Carroll switches the play over towards Timmy Clifford. If Timmy Clifford gets a run on him here, he could have a good break inside him, and he has it. Plays in towards Kevin Moore. Kevin Moore breaks inside. He's on the 21. A chance for Kevin Moore. Oh, brilliant block there by Adam O'Connor. There's nothing going past him in there. and he blocks it down and recovers, and he strikes it out again. And Ciaran, would you be nearly bring them out to number 6 at this stage to kind of power on the James Stevens second half?
But they might have to, after a very short, another few minutes, Ciaran, they're going to have to gamble on something, but he has been brilliant at full back.
Lovely crossfield ball played over to Matty Kelleher, the Dicksboro number 14. Ball plays out towards Mikey Steins, and Mikey Steins won't miss from there, and the Dicksboro number 27 splits the post, and it's back to 212 to 110. An excellent passage of play there. Ciaran, Timmy Clifford being very unselfish there. He could have shot himself, but used Mikey Steins outside him, and Mikey made no mistake.
Yeah, and he's growing into the game there in the last 5 minutes, Timmy Clifford. You know, you'd expect that from a lad off the county under 20 team. But Dicksboro using the ball well. Kevin Moore, Timmy Clifford, and then out to Mikey Steins, and Steins is very, very accurate. Another point for Dicksboro.
Yeah, another point for Dicksboro, and it's 2-12 to Dicksboro, 110 to James Stevens. 48 minutes on the clock. Just a couple of bodies going down there now at the moment. Adam O'Connor just getting a bit of treatment there from Martin Phelan. We have another substitute there for James Stevens. Ed Lahoff is in. He's in for Josh O'Rourke, who had a busy afternoon there in on the full back line for James Stevens. A lot of ball going in there, but look, he held his own on probably Nick Dotney, and he's gone off, and Ed Lahoff is coming in. Ed Lahoff, we saw him in the half forward line in the minor final, but he's gone in the full back line this time for James Stevens. And Norman Oak has it in his hand, tried to break through, but the ball is stood up there, and across comes John Keane, the Dicksboro number 6. He can't get her. James Carroll is in there. Ed McDermott has it in his hand. He plays a lovely crossfield ball in towards Steve Minogue, but Johnny Keane cuts it out, and who comes out with again? Only Johnny Keane breaks out with the ball, drops it. The Dicksboro number 6, helped there by James Carroll, number 9 for Dicksboro. John Keane plays it out, and again Eddie Crowley blows for a throw, and I tell you, Ciaran, Johnny Keane served his apprenticeship in Talbot, so I'll be disappointed with that one.
Yeah, Eddie Curley just has obviously decided he's going to pull those, but there was the world of bodies in around the ball that time, Ciaran, about 25 yards out from the Dicksboro goal, and this is an important free for Dicksboro. They're 5 points down. There's a little over 10 minutes to go, and they need to nail all these, because the scores have just dried up a little bit for James Stevens.
Yeah, and Eddie Crowley's after bringing it in centre the goal now as well for more back chat from, looks like, Charlie Nolan, who he's pointing at there. So a chance now for Steve Minogue to bring it back to a 4-point game. 2-12 to Dicksboro, 110 to James Stevens. 50 minutes on the clock. Steve Minogue strikes it in, makes no mistakes, misses the post, so we're back to a 4-point game. 2-12 to Dicksboro, 111 to James Stevens. 50 minutes on the clock. Brian Minogue has the ball in his hand, getting a fresh ball there from the umpires down there. Let's see where he'll go with this one. Brian Minogue, an excellent striker of the ball. He switches it over to the far side, all over in front of the new stand. Matty Kelleher's underneath it, and well batted down there by Sam McAvoy, the James Stevens number 7. Rory O'Connor tries to go back, and again James Carroll comes out with that ball from a ruck and plays it back to his cousin Mick Carroll, and Mick Carroll is blocked down. Ed McDermott plays it inside in towards Jack Kelly, and Ed McDermott has it in his hand. He's charging down towards the ball. Timmy Clifford's after running a long way to get to him, and then McDermott strikes it in, off the post, and a massive chance there for James Stevens. Ball dropped, and he used his reaction there and just let fly on it, and a big let off there for Dicksboro, and well worked out there by Niall Road, Dicksboro number 3. Stevie Darnley plays it into the back of Matty Keller. He wasn't expecting that one, and the attack breaks down around the middle, and referee Eddie Crowley is going to throw it in there, Ciaran. A big let off there.
Yeah, and Ed McDermott did really well. He was trying to make his way through. His original shot was hooked, and then as the ball dropped to the ground, he let fly on it brilliantly, and as you say, hit the post and it bounced back out. If that had gone in, it would have been a big score.
Yeah, and he had probably Brian Minogue bet all ends up there with that one, because it took everyone by surprise the way he let fly on it, and something you might see maybe on a bounce-your pitch in the summer, but he was very, very unlucky. James Carroll again comes out of the ruck with that ball in his hand, plays it back towards Mick Carroll. Mick Carroll strikes down the Dicksboro number 17 towards Mikey Steins. Mikey Steins out in front of his man there, Dylan O'Brien, and Mikey looks over his shoulder, strikes in towards the goal, but the wind takes that one, and it goes out to the left hand post and wide. And he showed well for Ciaran, Mikey Steins, and just unlucky.
Yeah, and like Dicksboro working those crisscross patterns in the full forward line all the time, where they leave the space for the lad to run into. Hard it on a good effort.
Adam O'Connor's going long this time. Ball breaks down. Just a good play there by Daniel Power and Adam O'Connor. He went long, and the The ball just overran Sean Casey then, but Dicksboro doing well there through Mick Carroll. Rory O'Connor tries to play this one down towards Matty Kelleher, but it overruns both Timmy Clifford and Matty Kelleher. Rushy Bateman comes across to it. Jay Stevens may feel aggrieved not to get free there, but well pulled on down the line by the Dicksboro half-back Sam McAvoy, but the ball runs out of play, and we have a sideline cut over on the far side, just on the opposite 45. And Richie Monroe go over on the far side, just I think telling Ciaran who's Jay Stevens meant to take their points. You know, there's still 8 minutes left on the clock, 4-point game. You know, tap over a couple of points. You know, it's only a 1-score game.
That's it. And actually, I think Ciaran, what the village forwards need to do is just win frees. They've only gotten 1 point from play in the second half. Stephen Oak pointed 4 or 5 frees, and if they were able to win a few more frees, they get right back into it. But of course, in order to win the frees, you have to win the ball, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we have a sideline cut over on the far side here. Tom McPhillips has taken it. 2-12 to 1-11. 2-12 to Dicksboro, 1-11 to James Stevens. 53 minutes on the clock. Ball cut down the lane there by Tom McPhillips. Is going to run down, and it's gone down to the other 45-yard line now, and James Stevens trying to get on with the play. Do have another man warm up on the far side. We'll see who that is. Looks like it could be Sean Keenan, but we'll see as Owen Dealey stands over this one, cuts it down. James Carroll tries to run onto the Dicksboro number 9. He doesn't gather it. Ball breaks into a ruck now, just over on the 65-yard line. Sean Dealey comes in again. His brother Owen backs him in there now. The ball just down in the ruck. Who comes up with it? Only James Carroll, and he runs out over the sideline, and the ball out for a sideline cut for James Stevens, and it's still 2-12 to 1-11. 54 minutes on the clock. Ball played back there towards 17. Ed Lahoff for James Stevens. He plays it down towards Charlie Nolan and Norman Og, and Charlie Nolan kind of no complaints there, Ciaran. He had his hand on the back of Norman Og, and you can't do that anymore where you go one-handed swinging.
Yeah, he was trying to hold him down from jumping up and just to knock the ball down to himself, but it was a foul, all right. Yeah.
And a chance here now for Stephen Oak. He's on the 45-yard line. Chance for him to make it a 3-point game here and make it an interesting last 5 minutes. James Stevens really giving it their best out there, as to the Dicksboro men, and it's back to a 3-point game. Stephen Oak makes no mistake. It's 2-12 to 1-12 to Dicksboro, 3 points in it, 55 minutes on the clock. We have another substitute here coming in. It looks like the yellow and red helmet of Sean Keenan, and it looks like Matty Kelleher is making his exit, and it is Sean Keenan coming in. It's a man with plenty of pace going in there on Ed Lahoff, and they'd be familiar with each other from the minor finals a couple of years ago as well, so let's see how it goes. 2-12 to 1-12, 55 minutes on the clock. Ball in Brian Minogue's hand here. This is Killian Hackett's after coming out to the half-hour line, and referee Eddie Crowley blows the whistle. The ball is coming down here and towards Kevin Moore and Michael Steins. Ball breaks down there. Quickest react to Shane Glynn. On the charge now is Sean Bergen. Sean Bergen, James Stevens number 28 there. Killian Hackett comes across there, cuts it. Well met there by Stevie Darmody, and out comes James Carroll with the ball again. James Carroll has it in his hand passes it out towards Stevie Darmody. Stevie Darmody can't gather on the first attempt. Picked up there by Oisin Bateman. Oisin Bateman definitely fouled there. A stray hand by Stevie Darmody, and a chance now for Stephen Minogue to bring it back to a 2-point game. And Ciaran, all the momentum with James Stevens.
Well, it's all with them at the moment, and they're doing exactly what we said there a minute ago. Win the ball, try and win the frees, and they're doing that. And Stephen Minogue, okay, he didn't go well in the frees earlier on in the first half, but he's after pointing the last 5 or 6 there straight in one after another.
And he's just probably halfway between the 65 and 45-yard line here. He bends, lifts and strikes, puts this one in, and this one's gone straight over the bar, so we're back to a 2-point game. Brilliant score there again by Steve Monroe. Pressure on that one, and it's back to a 2-point game. 2-2.
Just give you a scoreline. Kilmacow and Carrickshock. Kilmacow 2-17, Carrickshock 12 points, and there's 5 or 6 minutes to go in that. Carrickshock down to 14 men.
And the ball is battered down there by James Stevens' man Sam McAvoy. James Carroll picks it up, and he's going to strike this one down the lane. Kevin Moore's underneath it, he catches it. He has a runner offside him, but he runs into his way. He hand passes it out towards Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett plays this one over to the side towards Nick Dotney. Out to comes Sean Keenan. Nick Dotney bless a run off inside, but a good point there by Sean Keenan and a big score, Ciaran.
An excellent score, and what do you want from your subs? Only go in and make an impact, and Sean Keenan did that definitely there. Brilliant score.
Pushed it back out to a 3-point game. 2-13, 1-13, 57 minutes on the clock, and he has to hit. Sean Bergen had won that puck out, but he has to hit back towards Daniel Power as the umpire on the far side, I think it's Julian O'Dwyer, Ciaran, is it?
Yeah,
bringing in just additional time for the referee Eddie Crowley, so we'll see. Hasn't been too many stoppages, but you'd imagine maybe 2 minutes, and it's 2-13, 1-13, 57 and a half minutes on the clock. Stevie Darmody for Dicksboro wins that one. Killian Hackett has it in his hand. Norman O gets half a hook on him. Mikey Steins holds off Dylan O'Brien, the James Stevens number 4. Mikey has it in his hand. He's going to recycle it back towards Killian Hackett. Killian Hackett has it in his hand now, straight off his left hand side. This one is going to drop short, and Daniel Power catches it to James Stevens number 1, strikes it down to the side. Tom McPhillips has it in his hand. Tom McPhillips runs onto it. He tries to gather on his first and second attempt, but gathers it on the third. He has it in his hand. Good turn of pace there by Tom. He's running out of room there, but plays it back towards Kevin Moore. Out comes Sean Dealey. Tom McPhillips has it in his hand again. He probably had a push in his back, but sees a lovely ball inside towards James Carroll. James Carroll is on the charge. He's going to pour it over the bar, is he? And a lovely flick of the wrist there by James Carroll. All of a sudden it's back to a 4-point game, Ciaran.
Yeah, just 2 in a row there from Dicksboro, and they won both of those scores well. James Carroll has been outstanding. His positional sense is brilliant. Made himself loose for that, and ended up being a simple score.
Yes, it's back to a 4-point game. 2-14 to 1-13 for 58 and a half minutes on the clock. And Oisin Bateman, the James Stevens number 8, has in his hand, plays a lovely hand pass back towards Stephen Minogue. Stephen Minogue gets the strike away, and Stephen just puts this one out to the right and wide. And look, Ciaran, there's still 3 minutes to play. If you put that over the bar, it's back to a 3-point game. You can't blame them for going for it.
No, absolutely. They need to get it back to a goal. They've gone with Ed McDermott now at full forward, so they might put a few high ones in. Be a good battle between himself and Rowe if a high one goes in there, Ciaran. But Dicksboro just look to have weathered that bit of a storm, and well, the village they're running out of time now.
We just have an injured player down in the centre of the field there. Looks like Oisin Bateman, who again has left absolutely everything out in that pitch today, Ciaran.
Just looks like a little bit of, is it cramp actually? Because I wouldn't be surprised, because he's after running himself into the ground.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's kind of doing everything that signals that could be cramp, alright. So it'll be interesting to see will he be able to continue. He's back up on his feet anyway. So the ball with Brian Minogue down in the Dicksboro goal here. He's looking, calling Charlie Nolan. So the Pat Hayes is after announcing 3 minutes of additional time here. It's 2-14 to Dicksboro, 1-13 to James Stevens, 59 minutes on the clock. Stephen Darnley has it. He plays into the middle towards Timmy Clifford. Timmy Clifford sprays this one into the corner towards Sean Keenan. Sean Keenan's out in front, but the ball overruns him, and Ed Lahoff picks it up. He strikes it down the lane. Charlie Nolan's going back for it. Looks like Adam O'Connor's after pushing up there. Lovely flick through there by Charlie Nolan. Plays it out to Timmy Clifford. Timmy Clifford probably been better just to strike that ball, and now James Stevens are on the charge. Who has it in his hand? Jack Kelly has it. Adam O'Connor has it, but Rory O'Connor has it in his hand, and he plays it back towards Niall Rowe, Dicksboro's number 3. He plays it down the line there towards Stevie Darby. Stevie Darby plays it down towards Michael Steins. Michael Steins has it in his hand. Michael's going to play a lovely ball into the corner there, but it overruns, and Sean Keenan shouting back at me to say played in front of me, but the James Stevens men down well to recycle that one. This one comes down to Steve Minogue. To James Stevens number 12 is battling hard over there with Sean Casey. The 2 James Stevens men battling, but Tom McPhillips comes up with it. He kicks it off his hand, plays it down the lane there towards James Carroll. Looks like he switched his hands, lucky to get away with that one. And James Carroll is there again with Kevin Moore, the Dicksboro number 9 and 12, and the ball is out over the line on the far side for Dicksboro. I think Julian Dwyer signaling for Dicksboro line by it, Ciaran.
Yeah, Dicksboro line ball, halfway between the 21 and the 45. If nothing else, it'll kill a little bit of time, Ciaran. They'll probably take their time over this one, maybe go short than that. We're a minute into 3 minutes of injury time. They'll probably see it out from here.
Yeah, and he does go short, Ciaran. Who's there with Oisin Bateman and James Carroll battling out, but the ball runs over the sideline again, and this time Kevin Moore throws it down, and he's going to leave this one towards Killian Hackett. 2-14 to Dicksboro, 1-13 to James Stevens, 61 and a half minutes on the clock. Killian Hackett just lining up this one. He cuts it across. He cuts a brilliant ball across, but it overruns everyone. Michael Steins is going to try to get there and block down Daniel Power. Daniel Power hits it out towards Sean Bergen. Sean Bergen's going to go along. Drives this one down the side. Who's underneath it? Niall Rowe. He plays it back towards Timmy Clifford. Timmy Clifford plays it back towards Bray Minogue. And they're going backwards rather than forwards. And Bray Minogue plays this one out towards Johnny Keane. Onto comes Charlie Nolan. The Dicksboro number 9 has it in his hand. He's going to play it down the lane towards Michael Steins. Michael Steins lets that one run. He has a chance now. Michael Steins is carrying it. He's on the charge. He shoots and makes no mistake. And Ciaran, that's probably the winning score.
Yeah, that's the one that'll do it now. Charlie Nolan with a good ball down into the left corner forward position, and Mikey Steins has made a big impression since he's come on. Let the ball beat him, ran onto it and stuck it over with his left hand side.
2:15 to 1:13, 62 minutes on the clock. 5-point lead for James Stevens. So Sheen Bateman drives this one in long towards Ed McDermott. Niall Rowe's underneath it, but Timmy Clifford's back playing that sweeper role, and he plays a lovely ball out to the side here towards Tom McPhillips. Dicksboro number 28 has it. He looks up. He's going to drive this one down the lane towards Nick Dotney. Nick Dotney gathers, but it overruns him. In comes Sam McAvoy. He's hit hard there. Nick Dotney has it in his hand. He's going to play it across towards Michael Steins. Michael Steins has it now in his hand. He plays it out towards Nick Dotney. Nick Dotney on the overlap, and Dicksboro really, after hitting over 3 great scores there, Ciaran, when they came under pressure.
Yeah, when the Village got it back to 3 points. In fairness to Dicksboro, they finished really well, getting the last 3 scores, and there's the final whistle.
And there's the final whistle, a bit of a substitute final whistle there from Eddie Crowley. Didn't even give Daniel Power a chance to puck it out. But Dicksboro are the revised.ie under-19 Rainay Hurling Championship final winners today, winning 2:16 to 1:13, Ciaran.
Come on, boys.